Citroën C1 2015 car review. Since its introduction in 2005, Citroën has sold over 760,000 examples of its C1 Super Mini, popular with learner drivers, young mums, empty nesters and everyone in between. So the new Citroën C1, available with both 3 and 5 doors, has a lot to live up to, especially in terms of sales quality, and to do that the firm has upped the quality the baby Citroën offers. Built in the same plant as its Peugeot 108 and Toyota Aygo counterparts, with the engineering handled by the latter company, the new C1 is the most solid Super Mini from the French firm yet. Inside there's a new 7-inch multimedia system which includes radio, Bluetooth, video player and an onboard computer. Mirror screen technology allows the driver to copy smartphone content onto the multimedia system, though in our experience it wasn't quite as slick in practice as it sounded on paper. You'll also notice keyless entry, hill start assist, climate control, heated seats, reversing camera and memory settings for the front seats on the standard and optional kit lists. 2 petrol engines. Buyers of the C1 can choose between a pair of petrol engines. Both have 3 cylinders and are either 1.0 or 1.2 litres in size. The former develops just 69 bhp, but since the C1 weighs less than 1,000 kilograms it still manages to feel sprightly enough around town, despite the 13-second 0.62 miles per hour time. Those on a quest for speed would do well to look elsewhere, though the 1.2-litre PureTech engine develops 82 bhp and can complete the 0.62 miles per hour sprint in just 10.9 seconds. Like its smaller brother, it does its best work before 30 miles per hour, though. Either way, both engines are vocal, with a distinct 3-cylinder thrum that never truly disappears, even at cruise. To take your mind off it, both will slip under 100 gkm of CO2 emissions, and the smaller engine promises up to 74.3 miles per gallon. The larger 1.2-litre PureTech offering over 65 miles per gallon on the combined cycle. That means both will be cheap to run, thanks to low fuel bills and currently nil annual rates. Style. Buyers looking for some personality with a C1 should check out the Escape model, which boasts an electrically folding fabric roof that runs the length of the cabin, offering wind and hair motoring without any of the scuttle-shake shortfalls. Otherwise the C1 is available in 3 trims: Touch, Feel, and Flair, with the 800mm by 760mm fabric roof Escape option offered on Feel or Flair only. There are 8 exterior colors to choose from, along with the option for the Escape roof to be either black, grey or red to contrast or match the bodywork. Inside the dashboard, air vent trim, gear lever base and door panel trims can be specified in brighter colors to live up the cabin. Practicality. Designed very much with the world's cityscapes in mind, the new C1 is lower and narrower than before, aimed at helping maneuverability in tighter spaces, and features low rolling resistance tires to reduce fuel consumption. Electric power steering means the wheel is light but direct, while hill start assist works on any slopes steeper than 3%. Performance. You have to be in the mood to get the best Citroën C1 performance, as both 3-cylinder petrol engines crave high revs if you're hoping to make any form of meaningful progress. In fact, regardless of whether you opt for the 1.0 or 1.2-litre triple, you will need to be close to 6,000 revolutions per minute for peak power and torque, though the larger example is marginally more willing lower down. Wind up the smaller engine to the max and you'll scrabble, noisily, from 0.62 miles per hour in 13 seconds. And if you've got a long enough stretch of road, then 96 miles per hour is theoretically possible. For the same sets of figures, the larger 1.2-litre PureTech will manage a time of 10.9 seconds and an absolute of 106 miles per hour. In truth, though, both cars do the best of their work at lower speed, where their relative lightness comes into play. and are far more suited to the 030 mph dash instead. Either way, you'll know about the C1's progress, as the triple-cylinder engines are anything but hushed, emitting a characterful but sometimes tiring thrum as your speed increases. There's no diesel engine available for the C1, which isn't surprising given the leap forward with petrol technology, and the efficiency gains that have been seen in recent years. If you need or want an automatic gearbox, there is one available with the 1.0-litre engine only. Handling: if you're buying a C1 and hoping for tight sporty handling, then your hand must have slipped while browsing the Citroën configurator. A sports car this is not. However, it is a city car, with suspension designed for the rigors of city life. That means despite the short wheelbase 2,340mm, the C1 copes with the lumps and speed bumps of the city with ease. Along with light steering, matching all the other control weights of the car equally, it makes the Citroën a perfectly easy to drive city car. And while it's not necessarily at home out of town, it's not disgraced either. Sure, there's a lot of body roll to be experienced, but nothing surprising or untoward. And if you do experience too much for your liking, the simple answer is just to slow down. Equipment: there are 3 trim levels available for the Citroën C1, Touch, Feel or Flair, while the optional Escape fabric roof is only available on the latter pair. Standard Citroën C1 equipment: buy the most basic Citroën C1 and you'll need to expect a basic specification, since the Touch model does without the excellent 7-inch touchscreen or even air conditioning. What it does include is Hill Start Assist, which holds the car in position on slopes as you move off from a standstill, 6 airbags, LED daylight running lamps, rear ISOFIX points, remote central locking, front electric windows, and a 2-speaker stereo with USB and MP3 capability. If you want to experience a better stereo, then the mid-spec Feel is the model to select, with a 4-speaker DAB radio and steering wheel mounted controls. The 14-inch steel wheels of the Touch model are replaced with 15-inch models with different covers, while the rear bench can now be split 50 hours 15 minutes when folded down. Drivers will be more comfortable thanks to the height adjustable seat and air conditioning, while the inclusion of the 7-inch touch drive screen is a welcome addition that makes the cabin feel much more premium. That includes the mirror screen function, which enables smartphone owners to sync some of their phone's display and content with the touch screen, including sat-nav functions. To use it, you'll need to download an app called App in Car, which is compatible with both Apple and Android-based phones. The final gem in the lineup is the Flair model, which adds 15-inch alloy wheels, tinted rear windows and a chrome window surround to the exterior of the C1. While the rear windows are still of the pop-out variety, the wing mirrors are heated and electrically adjustable, and there's a rev counter just behind the leather steering wheel. You'll be sure to keep on the right side of the law with the speed limiter and the correct side of the fence thanks to the reversing camera. Escape specification models are only available on the top 2 trims, while the Touch gets the 1.0-litre 69 bhp engine. The Feel adds the option of the PureTech 1.2, and the Flair can be specified with the 1.0-litre with stop-start, the standard 1.2-litre and the ETG automatic robotized manual gearbox. At launch there is a limited edition Escape Feel Edition model which gets stripy body pillars, bright red interior trim and alloy wheels. Optional Citroën C1 accessories: there are a number of option packs for the Citroën C1, including the Serenity Pack £250, which adds a speed limiter and reversing camera, Automatic Pack £300 including auto air conditioning, headlights and heated electrically adjustable door mirrors. The Automatic Pack Plus £570 adds keyless entry to that list, while a range of colour packs changes exterior and interior trim details for brighter, more personalised choices. Rear head restraints are just £50, while the rev counter is £40, the space saver rear wheels £70, and the reversing camera just £150. comfort. The French firm is renowned for its ride quality, so hopes for Citroën C1 comfort are high, and the good news is that in general it scores well in this area. Around town, at low speeds especially, the soft suspension means it soaks up lumps and bumps without bother, and the C1 is relaxing and easy to drive around urban environments. That said, you'll have to learn to love the thrum of the three-cylinder engine, which is especially apparent under hard acceleration, which is another thing you'll need to get used to since the C1 needs a firm pod from your right foot to move at any pace. The front seats are comfortable too, though they do sit quite high and the steering wheel only adjusts for angle, so slotting yourself into your perfect driving position isn't all that easy. There's only room for two in the back though, and taller adults will find traveling back there a pain in the neck, literally. Like the C4 Cactus, DS4 and the previous C1, the rear windows only pop outwards on hinges, rather than wind down, but the optional Escape fabric roof should provide enough fresh air even for those in the rear. However, while it may struggle to match current class leaders like the VW Up, it is still an improvement over the previous model in terms of comfort. Practicality. Given its size, it's no surprise that Citroën C1 Practicality isn't its strongest selling point. That said, it will relatively comfortably sit 4 adults and even some bags. With the rear seats in place, the boot can hold 196 litres of luggage, and if you don't need to carry passengers, then folding the rear seats liberates a total of 780 litres of space. The glass tailgate reveals a relatively wide opening too, though the boot's depth does mean it can be tricky to lift heavy items in and out. Taller adults may struggle to sit behind those of a similar height though, as the seat backs are relatively thick. And it's made all the more apparent by the optional Escape trim, the fabric roof and its mechanism robbing rear passengers of headroom by some margin. If you enjoy the wind in the hair feeling, then the rear seats are for children only. Legroom isn't perfect back there either, and passengers in a VW Up or Skoda Citigo enjoy far more space in the back. Safety. Currently EuroNCAP still hasn't got its hands on one, but we'd expect Citroën C1 safety to be better than the previous model, which notched up 3 stars back in 2012. We'd certainly be surprised, as would Citroën, if it scores less than 4 stars this time out. There are 6 airbags fitted to all C1s as standard, comprising a front, side and head system, while the front seat belts come with pyrotechnic potentiators to tighten the belt at the moment of impact. And should you forget to put your belt on, the C1 will alert you to this via a warning buzzer. And of course the Citroën C1 has tyre pressure monitoring fitted as standard, as well as the usual complement of stability control and ABS. In the rear you'll find a pair of ISOFIX child seat mounting points, while Bluetooth connectivity is an option. Reliability. Since the first model went on sale back in 2005, there have been relatively few recalls for that car, and we'd expect the Citroën C1 reliability to be similarly well regarded. After all, the C1 might wear a Citroën badge on its nose, but it's built at the same factory as the Peugeot 108 and more importantly the Toyota Waygo. And it's the Japanese firm that is responsible for the engineering of the project, save for the bodywork, so you can expect at least a modicum of famed Japanese reliability. The cabin of the C1 is basic but well put together, and while it's not filled with soft-touch plastics or lush fabrics, that does at least mean it should be relatively hard-wearing, especially for those with children. It'll hold 4 people too, even if the rear bench is best suited for children rather than adults, while boot space with the seats in place totals 196 litres and 780 litres with the rear bench folded.